have the most exciting video to show you guys today. I know you already know what the video is based on the thumbnail and the title down below, but I'm so excited to finally show this to you guys. I've been waiting to show it to you, and it's finally time, and I'm so excited. I got to interview Victoria Schwab for the Teen Author Fest at the Ottawa Public Library earlier this month, and it was amazing. The people at the Ottawa Public Library were so nice and so accommodating. Victoria Schwab was a dream. She was so sweet and so nice and so down to earth. And I decided instead of doing a formal interview style, I did a book tag for you guys. So without further ado, here are some rapid fire book questions with Victoria Schwab. Hey everyone, it's Ashley, and today I have a really exciting video. Today I'm going to be doing the rapid fire book tag with Victoria Schwab. Hi. I will not be doing the tag, I will just be asking the questions, but we're going to get to know a lot of bookish things about Victoria, so let's get started.
Nervous. I haven't seen these questions in advance, so.
Number one, ebook or physical book?
Physical book. I own a Kindle. It's my original Kindle's name was Judas because I felt so bad about using it because I travel so much, but a published book or a print book if I can.
Paperback or hardback?
Paperback.
Okay. Is it just because it's easier
it's
to
easier
travel?
for me to take with me. I love reading a hardback, but it's so bulky, and I read books at the gym and stuff like that, and the paperbacks I feel less concerned about messing up.
Online or in-store book shopping?
In-store. Exclusively.
Really?
Yeah, I have a really great indie bookstore in Nashville called Parnassus, and I go in there probably twice a week.
I work at a bookstore, so
yeah.
I love that. That makes
yeah,
me
you
feel
just
really
never
happy.
know what you're gonna find. I don't want to you have to go. If you're online, you only know what you're looking for.
Right.
And if you go into a bookstore, you discover all kinds of things that you didn't know were out yet or that you wanted.
I also like talking to people.
Yeah.
It's I really liked this. What should I read? Versus.
Yeah, in bookstore if you can, every time.
Trilogies or series?
Series. I feel weird about trilogies. I think it's so a series can be 3 books long without feeling like a trilogy. There's this sense though that when you have a trilogy, that second book often becomes like a bridge between books 1 and 3. And I think that publishing encourages authors to lean into that style a little too much, and so then you just end up with this formulaic thing. I prefer series, and everything falls under that category of series. I just think it's a lot more open. I knew that Darker Shade of Magic, that series was going to be a series, but I didn't know if it was going to be somewhere between 3 and 5 books. So, it's not written as a trilogy, it's written as a series that happened to be 3.
Heroes or villains?
Villains, obviously. No question.
Villains with, a little bit of a heroic,
Well, I think
touch
all
to
good
them.
villains are the heroes of their own journey, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's interested in a villain that has no complexity whatsoever. So, yeah, villains who see themselves as their own protagonists.
A book that you want everyone to read?
Oh, goodness. I get very preachy about books that I love. Right now the book that I want everyone to read is this really fascinating book called A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet.
Okay.
And it's essentially Firefly, but with more species, and it's beautiful and uplifting, and I just love it. It's by Becky Chambers. I've started buying it and then just giving it to people that don't have it.
It's been on my radar for a while, but I haven't bought it. But I will now
fabulous.
buy it.
It's so fabulous.
Recommend an underrated book.
I mean, I could give the exact same answer. Instead, it's underrated only now. It used to be bigger, and I want it to be bigger again. Finnegan of the Rock, the Lumitere series, was so big when it first came out, and now it gets kind of overshadowed, but it's still, in my opinion, one of the best series ever.
The last book that you finished?
The last book I finished was a book called The Tiger's Daughter, which doesn't come out until next year, and I'm blurbing it, and it's beautiful. It's a lesbian love story set on the Mongolian steppes, and it's one of the most beautiful books I've read recently, but I finished it 2 days ago.
The last book that you bought?
The last book I bought? Oh my goodness, I buy books I buy 3 books to every one that I read. Okay, I was at a bookstore, I was at Baka Phoenix in Toronto and bought 4 books. One of them was A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet because I wanted to give it to one of the publishing reps who didn't have it. One was an anthology called The Starlit Wood. What were the other 2? I posted them online. My problem is I buy books, I read about 100 books a year, but I probably buy 300 books a year, and so it's a disease, but it's a really, there are worse habits.
The weirdest thing that you've ever used as a bookmark?
I respect my books. I'm not putting food in there as bookmarks or anything like that. Probably my cat. I think I've opened my cat, opened the book and set it on the cat for a second while I like went to get a cup of tea or something. Like, so it's less a bookmark and more just like a placeholder. But the cat didn't really like it. Like the cat.
I would assume the cat would have moved immediately.
I think the cat like chewed up a corner of the page because he cats and paper. But like it seemed like a fine idea at the time. He was super asleep, and I was like, I'll just put the book there for a second. And it was more like his tail. It wasn't his whole body, but still.
Used books, yes or no?
Almost never, but only because I have such a like library compulsion, like not as in just like shopping in libraries, like, but I like have to have a library.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen it.
Yeah, like color-coded bookshelves, and so mostly also just because I just want to support the books. I'm happy when readers come to me with used copies of my books. That's fine, but as an author, like when I buy other authors' books, I try to buy new.
Your top 3 favorite genres?
Fantasy, horror, and crime.
Do you borrow or buy books?
Both. So I have in the States we have an Overdrive app which like allows you to tap into your public library system, and then you can download like the e-copies of books or the audio copies of books, and I probably borrow 3 books for every one that I buy. But sometimes if I borrow a book and then love it, then I buy it. But I try to, like, if I'm on the fence about it, or if I want to be able to read it in bed, like on my Kindle and in audio and at the gym, all those different things, I'll usually acquire it in multiple formats. So I'll buy one of the formats and I'll borrow another one.
Yeah. Oh, characters or plot?
Okay, characters, that's to say, like, I believe a book has to have a strong plot, but if you don't care about the characters the plot's happening to, then the book will never stay with you. So I think that at the end of the day, also, the reason people read series, like, the first book is for the plot and the story, but the reason that people come back to a series is because of the characters. So I believe in characters.
Long or short books?
Both. Like, it just totally, like, whatever the length of the story needs to be. Like, I've read 1,000-page books that I wasn't ready to end, and then I've read 500-page books that could have been 200 pages that I just felt like, so it's whatever the story needs.
Long or short chapters?
Short chapters. Yeah. Or if the long chapters, like, breaks within. Because I think it actually makes you read more when you have these stopping points and you think, just one more section. Whereas I get a little daunted when a chapter's like 30, 40 pages long. And I'm like, there's no place to stop here. And I usually only get to read a couple chapters at a time because I do it in between other things.
Name the first 3 books that you think of right now.
Oh my god, that's so hard. Like, and I'm sitting in a library, like, I'll just go blank. The Grisha Trilogy, Harry Potter, and, I love so many different books, and my brain's, like, trying to sort through and pick ones that I just love instead of the things that come to mind like that. Gemina, just because I'm about to start reading it.
I'm reading Six of Crows right now, speaking of the Grisha Trilogy, and I'm, like, dying inside. Yeah. Like, I, like, jump up and down as I'm reading it to my coworker who's already read it.
So much.
And I'm just like, this is happening, and this is happening, and, like, when is this going to happen?
I'm a huge Lee fan.
Books that made you laugh or cry?
I'm a very hard sell on either. I'm not very emotional, and so, like, I can probably count the books on one hand that have made me cry. And my humor is really dark, so most of the time, like, a book that should make me laugh is not the book that'll make me laugh. Like, some weird, like, crime book will make me laugh. So props to a book that can do either one of those things. It is very hard for me.
Our world or a fictional world?
Our world. Preferably our world with magic. I like the accessibility of, like, I will always write supernatural fiction, and I mostly read supernatural fiction, but I like it when it's set in our world.
Audiobooks, yes or no?
Yes. I mean, so of the 100 or so books I read a year, probably 30 of them are audio.
Do you ever judge a book by its cover?
Always. I can't help it. Like, I can take that judgment and then I'll feed it in with lots of other factors, but the thing is, like, the cover's the first thing we see. And it's impossible, and authors know that, and it's really scary because authors don't have say in their covers. And so a lot of the things that people judge a book by, cover, jacket copy, back cover, all of those things, like, authors don't control. This is very scary, but I can't help it. Like, I'm an aesthetic person.
Not a lot of people know that, actually, that, like, authors don't like have a say in the, like, synopsis on their jacket.
No, in fact, the editors take a lot of pride in the fact that, like, an editor writes the jacket copy. Like, that's their job, and a lot of them, like, they don't like sharing that job. It's theirs. So when you think about a book, you have to remember that what the author really controls, the only thing that's guaranteed that they control is the content on the actual pages.
book to movie adaptations or book to TV adaptations?
Book to TV, but only because most of the books that I want to see adapted are fantasies or science fiction or supernatural, and it's almost impossible to get the world building that you need in a 2-hour movie, whereas you can explore it a lot more in a book, like in a TV show.
Series or standalones?
Both. Like, again, the same issue of, like, sometimes I read the first book in a series and I'm like, you could have stopped, like, it could have just been that. And sometimes I read a standalone and I love it so much that I want more. But it kind of just depends whatever I'm in the mood for. Like, I try to read really broadly, and sometimes I'm not in the mood to, maybe I'm already in the middle of 2 different series and I don't want to add a 3rd series, so I just want to stand alone in there.
I'm like proud of myself.
Yeah,
for, like, getting
we did
through
it.
That. We both did
it.
that. You guys have no idea how hard it was not to fangirl throughout that entire book tag interview. No idea. I was like basically like internally crazy fangirling the whole time, but I think I made it through kind of all right. However, I did forget to film an outro because I was just so excited that I made it through the whole thing without freaking out. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and hopefully I will be giving you guys some more cool content in the near future. A lot has been going on with me, like life-wise, which I will update you guys on at some point soon. But that's why I've kind of been MIA from the YouTubeverse. But I'm coming back, I promise. And if there's any videos you really, really want to see me do, comment down below and I'll make sure to try to film them this week. And I'll see you guys soon with another one. Happy reading. Bye! I have not done a wrap-up at all in 2016. I don't think. I checked my previous YouTube videos and I don't remember ever doing a wrap-up, and I feel like that makes sense because I actually wasn't reading a lot until like the end of spring/summertime. So, wrap up.